students recently gathered around Dexter Lawn for the first in-person study abroad fair in 2 years.
A new Native American and Indigenous Culture Center is open on Cal Poly's campus.
And Cal Poly soccer had a riveting weekend with 2 overtime games.
Broadcasting from Swanson Studios, you're watching Mustang News.
Thanks for joining us on Mustang News TV. I'm Sophie Lincoln.
And I'm Nate Austin. Cal Poly Study Abroad Fair took place last Thursday on campus. Our very own Alexa Kirshner was on the scene finding out what students want most from a study abroad experience.
Cal Poly students gathered on Dexter Lawn last Thursday for this year's Study Abroad Fair. The university offers more than 500 programs and 75 countries to choose from, and students seem eager to learn more. History freshman Jack Nunn already has plans for what to do when he first lands in another country.
Probably make some friends, I guess, and also try the food, just see what the culture's about.
Interested students attended presentations for countries including South Korea, Chile, and Spain, and gathered with friends on Dexter to discuss their travel plans. Study abroad coordinator Chuck Petranek works in Cal Poly's International Center and says spending a quarter overseas is invaluable to students.
Studying abroad is an amazing way for students to earn progress towards their degrees, to graduate on time, and do so in a place or location that's going to give them exposure to new and unique cultures.
This year's fair is offered in a hybrid format, with online sessions taking place through next week. Second-year business major Malia Jenkins says she hopes to get to know the lifestyle of where she's studying abroad through connecting with locals.
I definitely want to meet more people in different cultures. Even if England is pretty similar to the United States, I think it'd be cool to just experience different kinds of people. And in France, I feel like that'd be more prominent.
The next virtual study abroad fair will be this Thursday, October 21st at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. For Mustang News, I'm Alexa Kushner.
For more information on study abroad and the virtual study abroad fair, you can visit abroad.calpoly.edu.
Local wineries in San Luis Obispo and Paso Robles just finished their harvest season, but the work isn't quite done yet. Local wineries in Paso Robles are winding down after their busy harvest season. Dozens of Cal Poly wine and viticulture students find themselves interning at these wineries into the fall and are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Cal Poly students and harvesting intern at Corbett Canyon Vineyards, Brecken Jennings, says that while interning and being a full-time student is a challenge, the hard work is still very rewarding and really helps with the learn-by-doing attitude that Cal Poly holds. Cellar master at Booker Winery, Taylor Matheson, explained that the interns that Cal Poly provides are just as entertaining as they are hardworking. And while harvest season is slowing down, tourists are flooding into Paso Robles to taste the products of all of the winery's hard labor. A new center for Native American and Indigenous culture is open on Cal Poly's campus. Coming up after the break, we will take a deeper look at the university's relationship with Native knowledge.
Titans go! When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely. To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly.
Hollywood, here we come! The Atom has arrived.
Have a seat, my dude.
For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Impressive.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Cal Poly opened a new center to help connect students to traditions and cultures of Native and Indigenous people. Reporter Ava Kirshner has the story on how they plan to do so.
In recognition of the indigenous peoples of San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly named its residential community after the Yaktichu Yaktilhini Northern Chumash villages. But the university's relationship with Native knowledge doesn't stop there.
I'm standing outside the Yakititu Residence Hall where we're going to get a first glimpse at the new Native American and Indigenous Cultural Center.
The new center will partner with the American Indian Student Association and the Yaktitutu Yaktilhini Northern Chumash tribe to help make an intertribal space. And student assistant for the new center, Natalie Zamora, says that space is needed more than ever.
Like just finding a space that you can be with community and be yourself, your true authentic self, is a huge deal for any population that feels excluded.
And American Indian Student Association, or AISA, member Alex Reyes says that exclusion has a solution.
I felt there was a lack of awareness on campus, especially for Native students. And once I found out about the ASA Club through the Multicultural Center, I think, I immediately found my family and my community here.
Mentorship opportunities, academic support, and decolonial healing workshops will be available at the center, along with Native and Indigenous dialogues, films, speakers, and more. The Native American and Indigenous Cultural Center is located in room 114 in the Yaktitutu Residence Hall. For Mustang News, I'm Ava Kirshner.
The new Native and Native American and Indigenous Cultural Center is open to anyone who wants to visit and learn about Native American knowledge.
This weekend featured two very exciting matchups in men's and women's soccer. For more, here's sports reporter Torstein Wren.
Thank you, Sophie. This weekend featured some incredible matches between some very good teams, including the infamous blue-green rivalry that Cal Poly has with UCSB. Unfortunately, if you had taken a photo of the scoreboard before the first whistle, you would have captured the final score, as neither team was able to produce goals. But as always, the end scorecard does not represent the spirit and passion that was present at the game. 10,899 fans were recorded at this event, making it the 24th most attended regular season soccer game in the history of the NCAA. The game came down to the last minute when there were 3 consecutive attempts on the goal by the Mustangs. Unfortunately, those attempts came up fruitless, and after double overtime, the game remained zeros across the board. More can be said about the Cal Poly women's team, who also went into overtime in their game against UC San Diego, but they were able to produce goals, leading them to a 3-2 victory and a trip to number 1 in the Big West. And now, with weather, here's Alexa Kushner.
Thank you, Torstein. Hello, everyone. I'm Alexa Kushner with the latest on this week's weather forecast. As for today, if you can't tell already, things are starting to cool up here in San Luis Obispo, but today you can expect sunny skies with a high of 68. And as for tonight, it looks like cloudy skies with a chilly low of around 47 degrees. And while the autumn weather may be finally making its debut this week, the winds will be steady with gusts of around 5 to 10 miles per hour throughout the day. And now let's head on over to our beloved Central Coast beaches. Starting from the top, Cayucos and Morro Bay are looking like they will both have a high of around 61 and a low of 51. As for Avila Beach, you can expect a high of 63 and a low of 50. It looks like it will be around the same temperature in Pismo Beach, with a high of 48. And lastly, in Oceano, expect a high of around 64, but at night it will be the chilliest of all the beaches with a low of 44 degrees. And now let's go to our 5-day weather forecast. For Wednesday, expect cloudy skies throughout the day and a high near 70 degrees with a low of 50. And as for Thursday, it will be partly sunny with a high of 73 and a low near 55. And moving on to Friday, you may need to pull out your umbrellas, folks, as it appears there is a 20% chance of rain, and the high for Friday is pretty neutral at 70 degrees, and the low will be near 53. And now let's take a look at the weekend. For Saturday, it looks like partly cloudy skies with a high near 69 and a low of around 53. And lastly, there is also a 20% chance of rain through the day on Sunday with a high of around 68, and heading into the night, there is likely to be even more rain with a low of 56. That's all for your weather forecast. Sophie and Nate, back to you.
Coming up after the break, students at Paso Robles High School attempt to flush a pride flag down the toilet on TikTok.
Meals on Wheels gives me a chance to be totally selfless. More than the food itself, a lot of seniors don't have family. So just to have someone to talk to, just to say, hey, how was your day? That means so much more than a meal could ever mean. We have to look outside of ourselves to be that lifeline to other people. It's worth it.
At the end of September, students at Paso Robles High School stole a 3x5-foot LGBTQ flag from a classroom where they then attempted to defecate on and flush it down the toilet. The incident was posted on TikTok. Although it was taken down due to the community guidelines on hate crimes, the video had already gone viral. The school allegedly held the students responsible, but since they are minors, their punishments cannot be discussed. In an attempt to limit obvious partisanship in the classroom, the district superintendent, Kurt Dubose, decided flags displayed in classrooms cannot be bigger than 2 by 2 feet and cannot alter the American flag.
And so my job, for better or worse as I see it, rightly or wrongly, is to try and craft a compromise in the middle that hopefully will bring us together and unify us, and have trying to responsible in the middle.
After more than a year without performing, Cal Poly's marching band is back and gearing up for the Band Fest Returns concert later this month. Reporter Sophie Lincoln has more on the band's return to live performances and how they plan to do so safely.
Thursday evening, Cal Poly's campus was once again alive with the sound of the Mustang band practicing for their upcoming events. On October 30th, the band will perform its biggest quarter concert.
We do get all to one area in the venue, just kind of showcase abilities, what we've been doing this quarter, because we've been really hard.
Like most of the Mustang's other performances, band is an indoor, making it a bit more complicated in terms of adhering to guidelines.
The masks that we use, they have little Mustang band logo.
Bandfest Returns will take place the evening of Saturday, October 30th at the Performing Arts Center on campus. All guests must show proof of either full COVID-19 vaccination or a negative COVID-19 PCR test taken within 72 hours of the start of the performance. Masks will be worn by both performers and guests at all times. Tickets can be purchased online through the Performing Arts Center and are $10 to $20 depending on seating. For Mustang News, I'm Nate Austin.
The Mustang band is being back on campus means students are spending time at every part of the buildings, including the bathrooms. And as reporter Jenny Lee tells us, there's a Cal Poly Instagram account for just this reason.
A Bathrooms Review page is a new emerging social media account amongst Cal Poly students. One of its most popular posts features a bathroom from the Journalism and Graphic Communications building that has many students visiting it for the first time. Second-year Madeline Zhang is one of them.
I think you can only open the door to probably like 70 degrees. And then you kind of have to squish in between and you get in. There's a few stalls and then there's like a huge fountain kind of in the middle of it. And there's like in the middle is like it holds all like powdered soap. And so you just kind of get the powder, rub it between your hands, and then you step on a bar that's on the floor, and that like starts like a fountain of water that just like sprays out, and then you wash your hands.
The Instagram page rates bathrooms from Cal Poly with submissions from its very own students. The Instagram page has more than 500 followers and usually rates the bathrooms based on its quality, features, and convenience for students. The Cal Poly